Hey there, welcome back to Saxy Connections. I'm your host, Miss Saxy. Thank you so very much for joining episode number 2. If you guys recall, during the last episode, I shared with you the purpose of me creating the podcast for the purposes of you guys following me on my journey to playing the saxophone, as well as encouraging you guys to do something that you desire. And in return, I will follow and support you. And together, we will hold one another accountable for everything that we do. So I want to share with you this week the things that I learned in music class. And yes, I had to hire an instructor because I tried to do one of those self-help or self-made instrument playing things, and it just did not work for me. So therefore, I had to hire an instructor and learn the proper way of doing things. But anyway, before I share with you what I learned this week, I kind of want to address a couple of things because I asked for feedback from the first podcast that I did or on episode number 1. And there's 3 things that I want to address. The first thing is I was told that I did not look directly into, I guess, the webcam when recording or doing the podcast. And I have to be honest that that's somewhat kind of hard to do when you got this big ass monitor sitting in front of you, and so therefore I can't help but to look at myself. It's very different from, I guess, recording on the phone. So if you make a certain face or whatever, you can probably just reach out really quickly and stop it and start all over. And then the other thing is, I was told that the podcast or the lighting was really dark, and therefore I guess I couldn't be seen. And so with that being said, I'm not tech savvy. I don't know how to do backdrops or anything like that, but I'm sure I'll learn all that as time goes on. And lastly, because the room and everything was so dark, I looked dark, and my eyes, I guess I was told, looks absolutely dark or can't be seen. And I'm hoping and praying, like I said, as time goes on, that should get better as well. But now getting back to the star of our show, Miss Goldie, and share with you what I learned during music class. And so during music class this week, one main thing that I learned is that it's important to assemble your instrument properly. Now, it is fairly easy, but what I learned is you cannot do that with nails. I think my instructor was looking at me. He was so damn fed up with me because I was taking forever just trying to put a couple of pieces together. That's because the screws are very tiny, and it was just very challenging for someone with nails. So rule number 1, don't ever, or if you have nails, this is for the women, get rid of them or cut them down. Make it where they're manageable. But I love my nails, and so thank God I don't have to assemble the instrument much, because once you assemble it, that's pretty much it. You don't really take it apart unless you want to put it away. And since I'm practicing on it every day, there's no need for me to take it apart. So that was the first thing I learned. The second thing that I learned is that there are about 17 to 20 keys on the instrument. I had no freaking idea, because like everybody else, whenever I watch someone play an instrument besides the piano, where we can clearly see that it's about 100 keys on, or I might be exaggerating, but we can see that there's a lot of keys. I just didn't think there were a lot of keys on the instrument, but apparently there is. But thank God you only use about, maybe 6 or 7 other keys constantly. Those are the main keys, and those are the ones that, you have to mainly be focused on. Um, and the third thing I learned is that it's very, very important to clean your instrument after you play it each time. I think, like I said before, when you blow, you don't even realize it, but apparently there's spit, or I should say saliva is the perfect wording to use, that gets into your instrument. And so anyway, you need your handy dandy cleaners, towels, whatever you use to clean your instrument, or I should say the instructor refers to it as your horn, to make sure that it's in great shape. And so those are the things that I learned. Something else that was very important, they tell you to sit up straight and that your breathing has to be on point, and you're supposed to be able to hold a note for 10 seconds. And let me tell you, that crap is hard as hell, because maybe the first couple of times I might have gotten up to 4 or 5 seconds, but 10 seconds, it wasn't working for me for the most part. I had to try like multiple times to get it right. And, I'll play that for you. I'll do 10 seconds for you. That's the least that I can do. And then, as you may or may not see, I have a neck strap around my neck. I think during episode 1, I called it a harness. It's not called a harness. It's called a neck strap. And the purpose of that is because, the instrument is pretty heavy. It's manageable, but in order to play and hold it, most of the weight is applied to the neck strap, and your neck kind of holds it up so that way you can play freely. But anyway, I'm going to do my 10 seconds for you, so you can watch me. As you can see, that was hard because I was running out of breath. So I don't know how people are doing it, but I'm quite sure I'll get to a point where I'll be able to hold it longer. But right now, it's a hell of a challenge. That's the best. That's the best way that I can put it. They talk about your lips and holding your lips a certain way. They call it embouchure. Embouchure. Don't I was just about to try to spell it, but yeah, never mind. I'll pass. But it starts with an E. It's called amateur. And so one of the tips that the instructor gives you is to be able to say the word boo with your 2 front teeth, and your bottom lip is supposed to cover your bottom teeth. And when you say boo, you put your mouth on the mouthpiece, and then you blow. And so sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. I think I'm doing something wrong, but I guess, like they say, practice makes perfect. So those are the main key things that, I learned during music classes. And usually classes last about 30 to 45 minutes. It just really depends. The sad thing is, once you think you're getting the hang of it, it's like the alarm goes off and the instructor is like, into class, and I'm sure he's ready to run out of it because everybody sounds horrible, or at least I'm going to say I sound horrible, because that's all that I'm concerned with. But that's about it. And then what I told you during last episode also is that, during this podcast, to stay connected, maybe we can have a couple of minutes to give to random moments. And so one of my random moments this week kind of really, really, really pissed me the hell off because, like I told you guys, I retired and therefore I'm thinking I'm about to live life. Me and Goldie, we're about to do our thing. Do maybe play some gigs together, what have you, all that good stuff. But excuse me for 1 second. Here I go again with my monitor. Something weird just popped up. But anyway, I know I'm not supposed to say that, but we're doing things our way during the podcast. So I'm not trying to be politically correct. So anyway, what I was going to say is my random moment consisted of me doing my taxes. So, I got a few assets, and it's important for me to do taxes, something that I've always done for 20 something years, or since I want to say I started working, which is probably even longer. But anyway, for the first time in history, I was told that I had to pay back taxes. Me, the person that lives by the book and does everything right. I was told that I owe taxes. I have never in my freaking life paid the IRS anything, because like I said, I do everything by the book and I do things what I was told that I was supposed to do. So I was a little upset about that. My accountant is figuring things out for me, and we'll figure it out. I just, like I said, I just couldn't believe. So I was in a funk all week, pissed off, sharing my story with multiple people, and they were like, how is that possible? And I'm trying to figure out how that's possible because the money was already taxed. So why do I have to pay tax on it again? Make it make sense. That's all I want somebody to do is make it make sense. I'm not sure if you went through something similar or if you had a random moment that you just, I was going to say punch somebody in the throat, but, whether it was good or bad, it's important, to you, and you might have been happy about it or upset about it. Share it with me. You know what? Share it in the comments and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next week. But what I want to mention is that I'm on mostly all of the social media platforms. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube. So please, please, please follow me. Please subscribe. And like I said, we'll talk about it, next week. We'll talk, to stay connected, as well as we'll talk about our progress in doing and or accomplishing the things that we've always wanted to do. Until next time, talk to you later. Peace out.